I'm here with Kevin Collins from Diversified and Gordon Howell from AVT, and we'll be talking about the viability of moving towards a subscription-based model for a bunch of AV services and solutions. In the consumer realm, we've seen so many services such as Spotify, Netflix, just bring about the subscription-based model, and that's been adopted on a wider scale by people like Adobe and Microsoft. It's almost like you don't buy a product anymore, you sign up for a service. Do you think that's applicable to AV systems and solutions?
Definitely, I think it's the future. So currently people are still hooked on owning things, but the future is not owning, just as you mentioned, Microsoft and Adobe and a whole range of other software products. AV is just a service. It's got hardware and software components. Why wouldn't you just buy it like you buy everything else? So I really think that the subscription model is really the future.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think that, but it is more future than it is reality today. Because I think the business models and the business case to do it are still evolving. It's certainly something that we're looking at and trying to figure out how we can package that and how that makes sense. I also think that every customer approaches the way they're budgeting and the way they handle their finances in unique ways. So it might resonate more with some customers and less with others. But I would tend to agree. I think that in huddle type collaboration spaces especially, all of us are working on enterprise rollouts for customers with standard solutions, and it's sort of a natural evolution for them to start to be packaged as a service where you're just paying a flat monthly fee, the service break fix is covered, and any kind of future upgrades are covered in that.
Definitely, and I agree with you. We're not seeing it being deployed right now.
Yeah, it's not wide scale yet.
Yeah. Any opinions on where do you think it's going to start cropping up first? Where the first adopters going to be? What AV solutions are going to move towards the subscription-based model before others?
I spend most of my time working with higher education and came from that sector. I'm starting to see that universities are moving to as a service model where it's provided by an external integrator. But increasingly, AVT works very closely with companies like Utility, and where we're actually providing the back-end control and management of the AV on a monthly fee. So yes, you could capitalize it, but why would you? It's just software. And once we've done that on a wide enough scale, if a university is paying for their software on the month, why wouldn't you just bundle the rest of the room in with that? So I think the new emerging products will facilitate the growth of as a service by the integrators. Yeah. So it's hard at the moment if they're still buying lots of boxes because they still have to capitalize them, but as it moves more and more to software, it will empower the integrators and other service providers to move in that direction. So it is early days, but we actually do have customers out there who are currently buying parts of their AV fleet management as a service today.
Yeah, I do agree. Some of the vendors and products coming out are going to help drive this, but I think the first adopters will be the more sophisticated customers. It could be in banking, could be in Silicon Valley type companies that are really forward thinking and fully embracing, and they have scale where they can really see measurable results. And they typically will be the forefront, the vanguard of these things, and then that will drive down market. I think we're talking about years of evolution here. This is it's just starting.
Yeah. No, we're just, in my opinion, we're just beginning to see the abstraction of function from hardware in our industry, with a bunch of manufacturers looking forward and shifting their focus onto building a platform and then making sure that the hardware is just standard generic hardware that fits into the IT infrastructure that's already there. So it's just in the early stages.
It is in the early stages, but it's a bit like electric cars, I used to think I'd never see them in my lifetime.
Exactly.
But my next car will be electric.
Yep.
And if I look at as a service, Zoom has taken off and Skype for Business. They're both as a service product. The control system that we provide, Utility, is as a service. So there's a few bits that aren't quite there, but I think it's a lot closer than we think. We don't know when it will flip over, but I don't think it's a decade away.
Well, yeah, to your point, I mean, when you look at products like Skype for Business and Zoom, going away from that hardware-based codec has been pretty dramatic. Wouldn't you say it's been very dramatic how quickly it's been adopted? So I think that's a foretelling. But I also think the nature of the digital revolution and that our products are becoming IoT devices on a network, and it really is about platforms, as you said. I mean, that really is the wave of the future. I mean, we have many vertical markets that we play in that are across a wide range, and the IP-based content distribution, IT-based solutions are just, I've been doing this business for 30 years. I've never seen such a rapid transformation. When we went from SD to HD or a lot of other transformations in the past have never been so dramatic as they are now.
And in your professional capacities, when you have conversations with manufacturers, is there a discussion around this at present? Because in my opinion, control, DSPs, AEC, these kind of really software algorithm-based services that AV provides are just perfect for transitioning into that subscription model, providing benefit to the end user by shifting their expenses from CapEx to OpEx, which is a huge drive, and it just makes sense to me.
Well, it seems to make sense. I mean, I don't know about everyone's experience, but I don't see that being a big conversation now. Really, right now, it's about rollouts and technology selections. But I still do believe a lot of what you're saying that it will evolve. But I don't think anybody's gotten there. You say CapEx and OpEx. Those are not a given thing. I've noticed some enterprise customers, depending on the nature of their core business. Say you get a large mining or chemical company who has intense capital expenditure, they actually might be more interested in an OpEx. And then you get another, software type based company that would be far more interested in a one-time spend CapEx kind of a. So it really, part of it is their financial team actually telling their teams what's the best advantage for them.
Yeah, I don't see the discussion happening with the manufacturers other than those which are software based. It's really the end user consumer who is driving it. So the people I deal with pay their Microsoft license every year, and they pay all their other licenses every year, and Zoom and Skype for Business, and they'd just like AV to be able to scale at a predictable flat price every year. So I think the end user will be dragging it through.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't mean some of the integrators still won't operate in the CapEx model because equipment still has to be bought, but the end consumer will end up consuming it as a service.
Yeah, I think consumers are going to drive this. Customers are going to drive how quickly it happens. Nobody, I think you're motivated, I'm motivated, or the vendors. We want to service our customers. If they want it, we'll figure it out. We're certainly talking about it. Trying to figure out the financial models around it.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate
Lovely talking
your time.
to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.